The Warriors went on a road trip after a miserable homestand to try and keep their playing hopes alive. Against a Miami team without Jimmy Butler, it was Klay Thompson who capitalized on open shots when the Heat lived up to their reputation of overhelping on defense. I want to break down his 28-point performance, so let's get to it. In the first quarter, we have a pin down by Draymond to free up Steph. Miami is not switching off ball screens, and since Rozier decided to cheat the screen, this prevents Wiggins from making the pass on the curl. To counter, Steph stops in his tracks and fades, but Miami does a good job negating this. The second Curry saves it was when Rozier lost his battle, as he takes his eyes off of after being so aggressive. Steph counters by backdooring. Great pass by Green to force the Heat into rotations, and as Patty Mills has no choice but to help as a weak side low man, and Hawkins Jr. is now responsible for the two weak side dubs. Klay is wide open under the hoop, and there's too much space for Hawkins Jr. to cover as Steph makes a fancy no-look pass into a layup. Erik Spoelstra loves playing zone and has a known philosophy of helping on the ball handler, but the Achilles heel to the zone are three-point shooters. Initially, we have a 1-3-1, and you can see on the baseline both Klay and Kuminga are looking to exploit it. As Klay slips to the short corner, you can see both Bryant and Martin point for someone to cover him. With CP3 at the top, you know he's going to make the right decision, but it was Looney who comes down from the wing to set essentially a pin down on two Miami players, allowing Thompson to curl on the right wing and create space. Brilliant play here for a three. Again, the zone is all about helping and preventing as much dribble penetration as possible. With Paul at the top again, both Podziemski and Looney simultaneously set screens, but the point guard himself chooses the right side since there is a Heat defender on the left. As Paul gets to the elbow, even the threat of his mid-range jumper forces Hawkins Jr. to stun, and that was all Paul needed to see. This help created just enough space for Klay Thompson, and Paul hits him with a no-look pass that forces Hawkins Jr. to jump on the first ball fake in order to recover, giving Klay a reload triple. Timeout Spoelstra. At the end of the first half, the Warriors are on the 5-on-4, and you can see Draymond Green point for someone to go cross court. As the camera pans to all the players, you can see the strong side Martin is trying to help on the potential Draymond drive, and Adebayo is in his natural position in the paint. Green wanted to force Wiggins to cut to create a distraction, but the entire time the goal was to create even more space in the corner for an open Klay 3-ball. Great basketball IQ by Draymond Green. This was bad communication by the Heat. Klay pick and roll, and for some reason, maybe Hawkins Jr. did not want the mismatch on Mills. Both Heat players double Wiggins. Now we got a 3-on-2 advantage on the weak side, and look at Highsmith glued to Steph Curry's body. Bam comes all the way over to help in the paint off a non-shooter in Draymond, so Golden State counters by making the first cross-court pass to the weak side corner to Dre, and then another long pass back up to Klay up top, whose man in Patty Mills has to come all the way back from the help and recover. He's still pretty much there, but Klay's got 6 inches on him and releases it with no problem. Mills is old as hell, so I can't blame him getting burned on. Nothing fancy here, but an out of bounds to Dre, and as Mills turns his back on the ball and plays the deny position on Klay Thompson, easy counter the back cut right to the rim. No help from any of the other distracted Heat players, and it's an easy layup. Erik Spoelstra is a great coach, but here's another example of players overhelping. Wiggins sets the on-ball pick, and we get a switch onto a mismatch in Bam. Since Steph is a quicker guard and a lethal shooting threat, Bam has to pick his poison and is pretty high up on the perimeter. On the strong side, one pass away, you can see Highsmith guarding Klay, but is focused on Curry instead, and even decides to overhelp and stun. Knowing this, Klay counters by fading to the corner to create some distance, and the Splash Bros are on the same page here as Curry fires a perfectly timed pass for Klay to launch when his defender was helping just a little too far away, and it's a dagger 3-pointer. There you guys have it, a relatively quick breakdown on the first night of a back-to-back. These games pretty much are must-wins for the Golden State Warriors, as they try to keep their hopes alive for at least the 9 seed. Klay had the best game in a while with 28 points on efficient shooting, capitalizing off of Erik Spoelstra and his aggressive philosophy of his Miami players overhelping on defense with backcuts and open jumpers. Miami is known for its zone and helping one pass away, and the counter to this is to create additional space and time passes well in order to launch 3-pointers and expose the coverage. Now on to the second night of a back-to-back in Orlando, so it's good for a relatively easier win to start off. Klay will have to keep his hot shooting alive for the Dubs to even have a chance, since the Rockets have been closing in. Hope you guys like this quick breakdown, and like and subscribe to see more.